feels sturdy, which you don't always get. Like a lot of the external sound cards. Put the thing in and it's lit out, you're like, oh, it's pulled out before. So tell me, Henge, what's the current news? What's going on? What have you learned?
What have I learned?
What have you learned recent? What's caught your attention?
Clubbing seals.
What about?
Well, it's banned, isn't it?
It is. Is it banned? Is it?
It was
a lot of places.
It's alright if you're an Inuit.
Yeah. In a season, I assume, or something like that.
If you're an Inuit, it doesn't matter.
It's always the same season there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, but they've screwed him over because like Peter got involved. He said, "Oh,
right.
all this seal clubbing, it's tragic."
It's no good if it's for sport.
It's not for sport.
No, if you're eating it and it's what you do to survive and that's how you live.
They were getting these white ones for the pelts and they were highly sought after. But they're only white until a few weeks old, something like 4 weeks.
Oh, right.
So if you get them at 2 weeks, then they're still with the mother.
Yeah.
And at 4 weeks, they start turning, like changing colour.
Yeah.
And the mother leaves them. And that's when you can
in that little window before they go the regular colour.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so you can't get white ones anymore.
You can't?
No, because it's illegal to get them.
Well, that's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, that bit's alright.
Yeah.
But then Peter went crazy and said, right, no seal clubbing.
Yeah.
Don't be selling seal fur. And then the Inuits, they want to send the children to good schools and that, and so they eat the seal meat
market.
And then they sell the pelts.
Mm-hmm.
But
the regular ones or the
yeah.
Not the white pelts.
It's legal and everything.
Yeah.
But because of Peter, the bottom dropped out of the market.
Oh, what?
And so the
what
bloody
are they used
skin
for? Just
everything.
pelts, like what, for
clothes and bags and
seal?
everything.
Never come across seal.
No, it's not popular. And so so they're screwed. I mean, that's their business.
Yeah, I mean, at least they can still carry on the traditional.
Well, they can still eat the seal.
And they can use the pelts themselves, can't they? I assume they use it for yurts or something.
Or is that anyone?
Elk?
I've no idea.
Dairy things.
Yeah. It's really weird. The people are so against seal clubbing.
Why does it have to be clubbing?
Or
does it have to be?
Yeah, they've got a special stick, like with a spike on one end and a hard bit on the other. It's like a kosh or something. Yeah, they find it's the best way.
Alright.
Although they tend to shoot them. But yeah,
they do tend to
use a rifle and shoot them in the head, and then and then they're dead. So it's fine. Then you can skin them.
Yeah, you don't want to do that beforehand.
But what they did with the businessmen, like the fish, whatever they are, they just skinned them all and left the meat on the ice, and so you've got all this like blood and all these carcasses everywhere. And
that's no good if the carcass is going.
Well, it's just a horrible image as well.
Yeah.
So people suddenly go, "Wow, that's terrible."
But I mean, to kill something and not do something with it. I mean, you're taking the pelt.
It's only because it's a cute seal, though. If it was rats, no one would give a shit.
Yeah, we do leave rats to go to waste. To be fair, we don't eat them, do we?
No.
We just rats. But we do poison them a lot. So I suppose
that
renders them inedible.
I mean,
apart from all the diseases and stuff, I suppose.
We don't mind. We'll kill fish, like.
Yeah, and they're full of mercury and radiation, aren't they?
But seals, for some reason, they're off limits.
Yeah, they're a larger mammal, aren't they? I think that's the.
It's just.
Where the sympathy comes in.
Yeah, because they're cute. I mean, you can eat pigs.
You can.
You can do anything with them.
Anything you like.
Yeah, but seals.
Can your arms stretch a bit further?
Where?
To where you sat. Or if you want to sit forward or whatever.
I'll just move
forward a bit. It's a pain in the arse, isn't it? It's nice to be able to sit back.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, look at that, see? Boom arm.
clever stuff.
I had to look for a while to get it in white as well, you know. It was a separate pack to the Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may have gone a bit cheap.
I think so.
On I think you're alright with you. It does the job, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if this is properly powering it or not. I don't know if it's sending it or not, because it's not sending sound through the USB, so I don't know if it's... And like it says with the mics, if you don't put phantom power on, you just get lower sound.
Right.
Or quieter, or maybe if I had like a little amplifier or something in the hardware chain, like if I amplify it on there, it's just going to amplify all the noise as well.
Yeah.
I think I need a proper external sound card.
Is it?
Unfortunately, Season 1.
Is it not even phantom powered then?
I don't know. I mean, it's got a 5-volt power supply coming from the laptop to there, but I don't know if it's sending it to the mic. I don't know if it's.
I don't think it will.
I mean, some do.
Yeah, but they always say phantom power on them.
Oh, do they? This is made in China.
As far as I know.
It just says 5-volt.
Yeah, but that's just the input. It doesn't say 5-volt out, does it?
Yeah, it might not be phantom power.
It's a good job you got the condensers that don't always need it.
Well, yeah, I mean they are pretty good, and there is a little bit of noise. Again, that is the weak link in the chain. The old what should we have? Did you listen to Din? No, Bus.
Yeah.
Bus. Double S.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all.
Yeah, kind of a.
You should have filmed an unboxing.
Filmed an unboxing, yeah. Just going from excitement to disappointment.
Yeah, just tried all of them for the first time.
It's annoying the pitch doesn't affect them. It'd be good if the pitch affected the. No, it wouldn't. It'd just be a bit more gimmick, wouldn't it? It'd last a bit longer.
It'd be better if they just weren't on there.
It would. It'd be better if they weren't on there and it sent phantom power.
Yeah.
And there was a Behringer one for like 26 quid, 30 quid maybe.
You fool.
Yeah. Should have just trusted that instead of getting sold by the Muse lady. Muse lady, fucking Chinese bastards. Not gonna get any sponsorship there. So what else is going on apart from the seals? You got anything about the squids?
The squids?
Did you about the octopuses?
No.
They gave some octopuses, which are very antisocial creatures. Normally, they gave them MDMA.
Yeah.
And they all went around hugging each other. Literally, they were all just like rolling on each other. Which is pretty much
makes sense.
It does make sense. But it's interesting to see that it affects the octopus brain.
Yeah.
In a similar way.
Did you see the seal whacking that guy?
It's a weird week, man. I'm telling you, there's some weird stuff going
on. I watched something on Bigfoot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was no evidence at all.
No, there often there isn't.
No.
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, and maybe somewhere there's a jungle that's big enough to
there's
hide
no
a
reason
large mammal.
for there not to be.
No, especially in like the deeper parts. There's legends in the Amazon of a giant sloth, and there used to be giant sloths in South America and Australia.
Right.
They were like massive. I think they were, if I remember, it was from a Bill Bryson book, and they were the size of a mini.
Cool.
Like sloths the size of a Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
And there's legends of that still in the Amazon. There were once.
I think there's giant arachnids like feet high and that or something.
That'd be mental. And that could easily hide deep in a jungle where we've just not quite been, or if it's skitty enough.
Yeah.
And it just stays away from people.
Oh, they found a guy that's just wild. They think he's the last of his tribe.
What?
And they spotted him.
What? And, just by himself?
Yeah.
Whoa. What, did they go in or just observe? Or?
They observed. I think he's attacks people if he sees them.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's the last one, so there's not really been contact or anything.
They think he's the last one.
Whoa.
Because they can't see any others.
He's living like an apocalypse movie, isn't he?
Maybe.
Kind of. He's the last of it. If he's the last of his people, like, how do you get to that point? There must have been like 5 or 6 of them, and then that went down to 1.
Yeah.
Like, that's a shit week. Wonder what happened. Maybe a rival tribe.
Who knows?
Left one, send a message.
Doubt it.
Yeah. There's not that much warfare in like tribal things, I don't think. Like historically, there's not a lot of evidence for it. We always think of tribal people being like warring all the time. I don't think
They're
it's
the best
conducive.
stories.
Well, yeah, they're the most exciting. No one wants to hear the story about, oh, there was these 5 tribes and they shared a
And they
valley.
lived happily ever after. The end.
Yeah. I don't know, they might make stuff and art. I suppose their art stays, doesn't it? And
I don't know.
successful or
I don't think they
unsuccessful.
did do a lot of art. Really, I think they make the tools they need for hunting and
Yeah.
that.
They do like some like self like not tattooing. Well, sometimes tattooing, but like
Yeah, I
self
suppose
adornment or whatever.
that's some sort of art.
Yeah, and they like do the hair and like there's some tribes where they have like clay in the hair, and
Yeah,
they have like big dreads that look like rocks.
I was talking to someone about the difference between humans and other animals,
Mm.
and she says, "Well, we've got a soul. That's the
Ooh.
difference." So I said, "Well, how does that present itself?" And she says, "We're creative, and animals aren't."
Oh.
And I said, "Well, birds will be creative to figure things out." And so,
Yeah.
well, that's only when you put them in a test situation and they're conditioned.
No, in the wild.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're conditioned from the
Yeah.
moment we're born, and that's
We're
why
in
we
the
have to
lab.
be creative.
Yeah.
So I don't know how different they are.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends how you define creativity, doesn't it? Because like a bird has got to be quite creative in its approach to its prey,
Mm.
because it's going to move at some point, possibly. There's problem solving going on there. There's definite. Is it thought or is it just reaction? I don't know.
It's everything. I mean, I think one thing makes us quite different is the frontal lobe or something like that.
Mm.
Something about the brain that's different.
Yeah,
But it's also very similar in things like dolphins.
it's more developed in social animals. I think it's the frontal cortex,
Mm.
and it doesn't finish developing until you're about 21 to 25,
Yeah,
and it's like a social thing. So from the time you're born until then, it's working out how it's supposed to function in society and what the rules are and stuff, and it
yeah.
grows according to that. So you do get that in, I think, in some of the social animals. I think you get it in most primates and dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make us different.
No, it's much more developed in us. I think it's only very small in the other. In fact, I don't know if it. I think it might be something that is unique to us. I
I think the only thing that really sets us apart is that we've taken over.
can't remember. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that we build things, but then you look at termites. You look at
Yeah,
there are other things that build,
absolutely.
and scale wise, their
And the
scale to
only
our scale.
and if you look back at tribes, or even now, with tribes they haven't changed. They
No.
don't build big structures until someone comes along
Yeah. Sometimes they'll go
and
larger for like places of worship or something. They think is it's same as
yeah,
churches in Britain
that's
and
it.
Europe.
So there has to be a necessity
Mm,
to go bigger.
mm,
Like just like all animals, you, they're not going
mm.
to create unless there's a necessity.
Yeah, they really didn't build like big like apartment. Well, some places did, like in Turkey,
Yeah,
but it's more where they were building into rock. You build it
right.
into a rock face where it'd be like
Mm.
terraces of places to live. Um,
Yeah, and they don't. There was no need to develop any further for a lot
no,
of them, and
no.
so you can't say we're not inherently like progressing all the
Mm.
time. You know,
Yeah, another animal would do that in the same situation if it was. But is there a point that we evolved to where was it us just taking mushrooms? I reckon
I think
probably.
there's other creatures get high, aren't they? So
Cooking meat also increased a lot of nutrients and made the brain swell. So it might just be that we've got a big enough brain for it to be busy with all this nonsense that society's put into it.
yeah, we think we self-reflect, but other animals don't. But there's no way of knowing.
No way of knowing. And like you look at an animal just looking out at a view,
Yeah,
you're like, well, what is the difference? Like to me,
yeah,
looking out at that view and just looking at it and
Mm.
this animal looking at it. What's the difference?
And you get a lot of animals that recognise their reflection and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can contemplate that it's
Oh
them.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
that's it. Some cats and dogs
yeah.
aren't sure.
We can't do it until we're about 3. Like,
Yeah,
there's a point we cross in
we develop
development.
so slowly. If you think about it, the animals are so much smarter than a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they develop
We-
more in the womb, don't
yeah,
they? Whereas we do a lot of it outside, which
yeah,
is another thing with this prefrontal cortex, if it's that. Um, because we're born early, we can develop stuff outside because we're still growing up to a certain age. So those animals, once they're born, like they're pretty much ready, I think.
yeah.
Like, you know, how you see a giraffe get up straight away.
So they don't
You
need
see 'em-
to be conditioned any further.
No, they've done all that already, or at
They
least the
just do
major
the thing.
part.
Yeah,
And they learn after that, so there is still development, but they're born at like the developmental point of what, a 4-year-old or something. When do you start walking?
yeah.
Like, what's that?
What,
1, 2,
3, 2,
3? I don't know
2.
anything about.
Yeah.
Between 0 and 4 somewhere.
Usually by 2, they can walk a little bit,
Yeah, so you know you could say that most animals.
but they're nowhere near as developed
Mm,
as anything else.
no, they might be able to walk, but they can't then 2 minutes later leap around.
Aye,
They can't jump for ages. It's well funny.
aye.
See kids trying to jump when they're too small, and they just go.
The birds take a little while, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do, and they're in an egg again, and then released quite early. They're still quite
Yeah.
fetal, if
Yeah.
you will, when they're tiny.
Yeah, they're not able to do much.
Yeah, so that's a more similar development to us. So they're probably pretty smart
Well,
if they're
they've,
developing outside the womb.
they've been about since dinosaurs. I mean, they are
Yeah.
dinosaurs. How amazing is that?
Yeah,
If you
that is
survived that
amazing.
long as a species, you're doing something right.
Yeah, there's got to be, because like you see like flock patterns and migration, and they've got a sense of magnetic north, the same as sharks have that as well. I think it's sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can sense magnetism, and there's most fish have got like a magnetic band.
Yeah, so they've got senses that we don't seem to have.
Yeah,
Or if
yeah.
we've got them, we're not
But
tuned
you can
into
give
them.
magnetism to people. They
Yeah.
did a thing where they put a belt on people that had like little vibrating pads all the way around,
Right,
and it vibrated through north. It
right.
vibrated north all the time, and they left it on them for like weeks, I think. And then when they took it off, they still had the sensation
Yeah,
like moving around
and
the
it still
body,
works.
and it was still accurately managed to go around a grid or something.
Right.
It was a Horizon program. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cat.
Yeah, they can just see other frequencies that we can't see,
Mm.
and therefore there's probably like a map in the air.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, how is that represented to the visual system, or is that
I would have thought so.
somewhere else? That's the easiest place. I would have thought. It'd be tricky in hearing, wouldn't it? I mean, that's what radar is, so that you can do that.
Oh, as long as the brain translates it to information, it doesn't really matter where it's coming from.
No, that's true. But it's interesting how it's represented in it, because like it might be represented by higher wavelengths of light than we can see if their eyes are more developed than ours.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Could be infrared. That'd be mental.
it'll be like a kind of infrared. It'll be just magnetic waves, won't it?
Yeah.
And
So
they'll always be there.
there'll be
It's like,
waves. There'll be like a frequency, like
it's like
light
if you
or
could
sound.
stick iron filings in the air, then they'd bond to the magnetic lines.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and maybe you don't. Maybe you can see that with a certain vision. You don't. We'd need to put iron filings in it to see it.
Yeah. To represent
But maybe
it.
maybe other creatures can just see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with
Or feel it in
VR,
some
we'll
way.
be able to do, or AR, we'll be able to represent
Oh yeah, augmented reality. It's gonna be mental.
different light frequencies that we can't normally see.
Yeah.
Just translate that down into a color you can see, and you'll be able to see how the light at that frequency is behaving, like how it's moving.
It's like a radio wave as well, isn't it? The magnetism. It's basically radio waves.
Yeah,
it's
you
just
could
a
definitely do
different
stuff with that as
frequency
well.
that it's at.
And you can represent it visually then, so you can kind of
Yeah.
understand it. I I think,
Yeah, you sort of convert it into something you can see.
you might be able to do a lot of science with that.
Yeah,
Perhaps a lot of observational.
it'll give us an understanding
Might even
more
get to
of
see dark
things.
matter.
Oh, dark matter.
You know.
Yeah, because we all believe in dark matter.
Well,
Because
it's the great mystery, isn't it?
yeah,
Like
it's the only
most of
way
the
to
universe
explain
is
something
missing.
we don't know.
Yeah.
It's either dark matter or it's God.
Yeah. I suppose it's just whatever name you give it. Well, yeah, not
It's
God.
just some unknown stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's most of the stuff isn't what we think it should be.
Yeah, you know, the universe is expanding,
Mm.
and the way to visualize it, I've heard, is new matter appearing all the time,
Right.
and so you might think stretching it out it would get
Yeah.
thinner,
But it's more
but it
like
doesn't, because
rendering
it's
in a game where you walk into a scene and it improves
yeah,
the
it's more like
graphics.
a body of water and adding water to it so that it
Right.
grows, so everything on it is still the same, but then it gets further apart, but it's not split. You know, it's
Yeah,
not.
because stuff is moving
So
apart, isn't it?
supposedly, yeah, but
We've got
that's it. It's not actually moving. It's moving apart, but because more matter's appearing,
right.
which
I'm
is
with you. So
crazy.
it's yeah, like a body of water, like you're
Yeah,
saying, like yeah, squelchy
yeah.
thing.
And
That's pretty
I'm
mental.
wondering, is everything that must be happening to everything?
Yeah, maybe that's what people are talking about when you look at parallel universes and moving through them, like
Yeah,
that expansion. Maybe that's probabilities moving outwards. The mechanism where people are like, oh, every second or whatever,
yeah,
a new universe happens. Like the way you're saying with stuff moving outwards like
yeah.
that, it seems like that could also be the same way that'd move.
There must there'll be some other dimension
Mm,
that
that's feeding.
that's causing it,
Yeah,
and we're not aware of this other
I
dimension.
suppose we call that the Big Bang.
We say about the Big Bang, but I think it's because we don't understand this other dimension.
Yeah, yeah. What's on the other side of the singularity?
It's this difference between like living on a flat piece of paper and just
Mm,
being flat, and then all of a sudden there's 3D.
yeah,
It's like, oh, that's crazy. That's like everything's like so much bigger and there's so much
yeah.
more going on.
And just completely different, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
going from 2D to 3D is just
yeah, it's
you couldn't conceive of it beforehand
absolutely.
at
And
all.
so we can't
We
really
can't conceive of.
can't
If we did, then
the
we'd see
fifth
it or
dimension
whatever,
or
wouldn't we? I suppose.
something.
I suppose when we can conceive of it fully, that'll maybe be when we can see it. If we
Yeah,
can feed that information into a computer model and put on our glasses and just find it in the sky.
yeah, it'll be amazing because it's like if you've got on a piece of paper, you fill a piece of paper with writing and then it's full.
Mm,
Then if you've got a box, you can stack your paper up. You've got your
yeah,
3D, and so you've got a whole room and you filled it with boxes. And then add another dimension, and then you
yeah.
can expand
And
in
then you can
another
expand
way.
into that. Yeah, and you might be able to do it in different ways than
And how
physical
much bigger
because
is that next dimension?
it could
It's
not
massive,
even
isn't it?
conform to our concept of size really.
Well,
It could be
it's
something
like from
different.
going flat to 3D, you've cubed it, haven't you?
Yeah. So if you wanted to
But then
carry
you add
on with the
another one,
analogy,
you've
would you
like
just keep cubing?
I don't know. It'd be to the power of four then, wouldn't
To
it?
the power of
Maybe,
four.
and there might be another one out after it.
So would everything would like instead of it being 360 degrees, would it be like 900 degrees? Like would a circle be more degrees,
You'd be able
perhaps?
to travel in and out of the circle and not just around it.
That'd be pretty weird. Oh yeah, because it has to involve movement in some way
An extra
or
direction.
something. Yeah.
It's got to have another dimension.
Maybe that's what's on the other side of these screens. I think that might be a place that we're finding rather than a place we've invented, maybe.
If there's matter appearing in
Mm.
everything, then this table
It's just
is
it's
growing.
it is what you see
So
on psychedelics.
we
That
were
really though,
quite
isn't it?
small, and we're just getting bigger and bigger. But everything else is getting bigger at exactly the same like relativity. You know,
Yeah, but
it's so,
stars
so
like
relative.
groups of stars are moving away from us. There's like a
The
limit.
only way to see the effect of everything growing at once
Mm.
is through vast distances. I think
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's why it's
Yeah,
confusing.
where a small difference is big because it's
Yeah.
well, yeah, but that's so. Is every point the center?
Oh man, that's how another dimension has to come into it somewhere.
Mm. Well, I suppose gravity and time both go like all like that's space time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like they all go
Gravity is space
all the
time.
way across. So I mean, they're the two real fundamentals.
Yeah.
So maybe there's another thing that goes across all the way like that, and
Well,
that's what we call dark matter.
the
Or
dimension.
that's one of the 50 things that
Well,
are in that percentage.
I think space time and gravity.
Mm.
That is the dimension that we're stuck on. It's like we're traveling through
Yeah,
space and time.
yeah,
Now
bound by
that's like
gravity.
we're bound. Yeah. So once we know another dimension, we won't be bound by the space time anymore.
If we could be outside of time, that'd be pretty mental.
Maybe that's what happens when we die.
Maybe something happens.
When we die,
Maybe
we
just
we
yeah,
go
that
into
could be.
the other dimension,
Yeah.
and
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the idea in Buddhism, really, isn't it? And a lot of
yeah,
like Buddhism and Hinduism are both either have another go round or
well,
get
yeah.
out of the simulation. You know?
Then we become one with everything, and then we can also be collected and put into another
Yeah,
vessel.
manifest.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
but because we've manifested, we've only got eyes and the comprehension of
of current events, so to speak,
yeah, of the
of now.
dimensions
Yeah,
that we can see. So
and we're still trying to find them so hard here, even though we don't know. It's just
yeah,
the other side of a coin.
that's it.
I would kind of like to think that you get to choose like an era and
Yeah.
a planet, let's say, because I don't know how you work it out on multiple planets. I don't know if you have to stay on the same planet or what. But I
I
reckon you
don't.
get to choose an era and be like, right, I want to see Hendrix at Woodstock, so I want to be
Yeah,
born in the 50s.
I can't think it'd work like that.
No, 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 hang on. And then you just get put into a random body in that time period, so you have no control over whether you actually get to do it or not. You just choose the thing that you
That
want to go and
wouldn't
do.
happen.
No,
No, because as soon as you've lost your body, your vessel,
yeah,
you no longer
you're no
have
longer that
needs
singular.
and wants
So you think? Do you
that
think
that
identity
present.
carries on or no?
No, everything that you value is
Do you reckon it's added to the soup?
I don't know. I think everything that we understand and value will suddenly become meaningless without a
Mm.
body, and you'd have a greater understanding of things,
Mm.
and anything that you
Yeah,
held
something
dear
beyond. Yeah.
in your mortal time would be completely irrelevant.
Yeah, because you'd be.
You'd be able to see
Yeah.
everything, and you'd be on the other side of the coin, like you.
Yeah. 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 So
And
everything
so
would
when
be
you
one
came
at that point,
back,
wouldn't
yeah.
it?
So when you if you were to manifest again,
Mm.
you wouldn't do it with intention of
You would
any kind.
just. Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't. Would you just like jump down a little water
Your
slide or something?
intentions, it'd be impossible to know what intentions you could have because you'd have a new universe to consider. You'd have a whole different set of rules
Oh, do you reckon?
and beliefs, and yeah, you'd have a
Oh, right, and you're yeah that you'd have no control
yeah,
over really.
you wouldn't have social conditioning anymore.
So you're kind of along for a ride more than uh, because you're just hopping in like down a water slide. Like
It's
it's just
like
a tube and you whap,
you
and
just
then you have no control over what's going to happen
yeah
at all. You have no could be anywhere, could be anything,
yeah and everything is meant to be.
and you're just going to ride through in this vehicle, whatever it is. If it's a flesh bag or a gas
Yeah,
cloud or whatever.
and because space time is a line,
Mm.
everything that's gonna happen is 100% gonna happen. Like it's not
Yeah.
like it could do this or it could do that.
Do you reckon it could ever stop if there was some force big enough that some kind of disastrous explosion, big universe error? Do
I don't know.
you not think it could be?
Well, you can't stop gravity. You think it might
Mm.
equalize at some point?
No, no,
We
no. I
find a
think maybe there'd be a disruptive force big enough that would cause it to. It'd probably be an end and renewal sort of process. I'd
You think
imagine
maybe
a big
thing
bang
would
from
move?
the other
Do you think
side,
it
perhaps.
could just cause everything to go backwards?
Yeah, I think if time was going backwards, it'd still be the same. I don't think you'd walk backwards. I think if time was running backwards, you'd still tell the time the
It
same.
actually makes no difference
It
how
makes
you look at
zero
it.
difference, does it?
No,
No.
because
You'd still just be like, right, I've got to go to
we're
work.
stuck. We're stuck by time anyway. You know, it depends us
Yeah. It's
whichever
not
way
really
it's
going.
going.
Is it really even going one way or another?
It's just now all the time.
Yeah.
It's just
That is a profound. Is that a quote?
it is now. If you say it after I've said it,
You
it's a
said
quote.
it, Henge. You said it.
But it's not. It's not a quote until you say it.
What?
It's not a quote
I
until you
can't
say
quote
it.
it if I say it.
Well, you can quote me
myself.
saying it.
I can quote you saying it.
Yeah.
But then if I try and quote myself saying it.
No, that doesn't
Oh,
work.
but
So,
I have quoted it. I see what you mean. I am quoting it. I'm about.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to.
so is it a quote? Only if you repeat it.
I'll repeat it at some point. I'm sure. It's just now all the time. No, what do you say? It's just
Yeah.
now everywhere.
I don't know.
It's always now.
It's always now.
It is always now. It's pretty weird that. Really, isn't it?
It is.
I think we might be.
And that's what binds us.
Maybe moving through time is like moving through dimensions, like possible futures. Like you just.
I think fate is a definite thing.
I don't think free will and fate are mutually exclusive.
Free will's an illusion. A complete illusion. And what's going to happen tomorrow has already been set. But because we have zero way of knowing until it happens, it makes no difference.
So there would be.
So there's no need to worry about fate.
Like there could be a grand calculation that would say because of the maybe a really advaused computer.
It's just cause and effect. But the
Yeah,
calculations are so difficult.
in there
No.
Which is set up by
no,
various
if a tree falls
things,
and you think that it was because of the wind, or another person thinks that someone pushed it, that's interpretation. It doesn't change the fact that the tree fell.
No, but
and how it fell.
It can change what the person then does after that.
They were always going to do that.
No, because one person thinks someone pushed it, and what's one person's?
Yeah, and they were always going to think that.
Maybe. I don't think necessarily.
But it doesn't change. Doesn't change the tree.
No, but it changes what happens. Going off from that for both people. Just using the tree as a metaphor.
Yeah, the reason
like a dam burst and someone thinks it was
one person thinks that it was that, and they came to that. They'll always have come to that conclusion.
And loads of other people have different
because of everything that came before it, everything they've learned.
Yeah.
Their
and then
biases.
they all interact, so everyone interacts in this web. But I still think there is room for movement in that. I think depending on your circumstances. Like I don't think I would make the same decisions had certain bits of my life gone differently, or if.
But they couldn't have gone differently.
Maybe they could have. What about
everything that's happened has to have happened. And could only have happened. Nothing else.
I think that's when you're looking at time from a history, when you're looking backwards at time. I think that's certain. And if you were at the end of time looking backwards, then you'd say, it could have only gone one way. But while you're in the process of it happening, I think there is.
We create an illusion that it is. Anything could happen. Well, anything could happen.
What if there are alternate universes where things are just slightly different?
Yeah.
Then how does that work with destiny? Because then all the things are possibly happening.
Well, there isn't one. That's why.
Eh?
Because there isn't one.
Do you reckon there's just one universe?
Well, there could be other. This is another dimension we've decided already.
Yeah.
So there could be anything could be going on there, but I don't think there's a parallel.
You don't think there were
there's
copies
another
with slight
version.
differences?
No.
No.
No. I think we're going through every possible thing that could, develop. So if you've got a bit of dirt or something, and then bacteria, and then it sort of tends to mold or something, and it expands, and it goes through a whole set of things that it does.
Yeah.
And its environment is all
it
part
has to
of it.
react to the environment, but that is the environment.
And
something.
And if one's in one place and you do it again in another place, it's got a slightly different environment.
Yeah, slightly
and it's going to be. Yeah, but you can only ever get that.
Yeah, and I suppose then if they meet and meld, then you can predict that as well.
Yeah, and even though you can't predict it, it is set.
Yeah, I think if you could predict it, I don't know. There's still
we couldn't predict it, and that's why it makes no difference. about fate. You don't. You can believe in. Some people believe in fate so that they can, like, I don't know. It's like, oh, this had to happen to me because I'm lucky. You
Yeah,
know,
it's like, or it can be
it
like
was
a
a sign
quest.
thing.
It can be
But
like, oh, I'm destined to do this,
yeah,
so I'm gonna go out and get
yeah.
that.
Once you start attaching things to the fate,
Yeah.
then you're lost
Uh,
because you can't
no,
know.
you can't
You can't
direct
know
it.
your fate.
In its very definition, you can't direct it.
No, you can't ever know your fate, and therefore, like, it doesn't make any difference to your life. But I still think that it is set.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it isn't an issue.
I think I think it's improvised, but um, when looked at from the point of the end, looking backwards, it's clear that it could have only happened one way.
And once you realise that that's just another dimension that we could
Mm,
break free of one day, you know,
mm.
you, it's pretty
Yeah,
obvious
we
that
could
it has
change
to
things. Like,
happen, that
do you
it has
reckon
to
we
have been
could?
a certain way.
Do you reckon we could create free will for humankind?
No, we've got
You think we
free
could
will.
break free of?
We've got free will in as much as we can't know what our decisions are gonna. You know, we can't know
Yeah,
that we're
what
not
our decisions are going to
making
be.
decisions.
But
We
you can
believe
try
we
and be
make our own
aware of the
decisions.
decision you make
Yeah,
in
we
the moment
believe.
you're making it, and
Yeah,
try and
our
adjust.
brains are able to tell us that we've made a choice.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
really, I think the brain's like just telling you that.
yeah,
It's justifying your actions. It's like if you feel hungry and you eat,
yeah.
you, your body's like, your body just tells you you're hungry,
Oh yeah,
doesn't it? It's like,
yeah, yeah, and then it tells you
and you
thanks.
think, yeah, and so you think, so you're not thinking, I think I'll eat, and making
Yeah,
that
you're reacting
choice,
to a thing.
or you'll think, yeah, you're like, oh, chocolate bar.
Yeah,
It's only because your body's sending
yeah,
chemicals and signals saying, we want some
yeah.
chocolate.
We want some sweet. We
And then
want
you
some
have this
sugar.
thought, oh, I choose to buy a dairy milk today. And it's,
No, it's influenced by
it's
your
all
body.
influenced.
Yeah, yeah. But then what about when you make the choice? When, so say that's a reactionary thing.
Mm,
That's something happening, and you just react into the thing. So
yeah.
what if you make a choice not to react to the thing? Is that not exercising free will?
No,
No.
because you've, you've learned, for some reason, you've
To do the
created this
opposite.
behavior that that you don't want to do
But you
this thing
think
that
that
you're
was
trying to
always
do.
definitely going to happen.
Yeah, everything's always going to happen.
I don't know.
It's not.
I like to
It,
think there's some kind of like improvisation and creative. Not that it like negates
well,
creative things or
the
anything,
problem
but
you
what
problem
about when you write a tune?
yeah, well, the problem people have with it is, I think if people die in horrible ways,
Yeah,
you know, we should have stopped them. You know, if only we'd done this, we could
yeah,
have, that could have been avoided, and all this lot.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, I know what you
And
mean.
it's just people dreaming.
Mm,
It's not a real thing. It's everything's got to happen. I mean, it's good though because we make people make choices to try and make the world a better place, and then
yeah,
hopefully the world becomes a better place. And it's great to say that it's because of their choices, but I think it was just
I wouldn't say it was entirely
it's the only,
just because of choices. I would like there are huge amounts of influence, but I
but it
think
was
there are
fated
moments where
anyway.
you can decide to do the not do the thing you were gonna do, and like I know, like you say, that can be traced back to just thinking about stuff. I
Yeah,
don't think
it's
I'd be that reflective without psychedelics. I don't think I'd be a sort of self-correcting type of person. Like, oh, do you know, like thinking about stuff in the moment and thinking, oh, do you know,
yeah.
I'm not gonna do the thing that I want to do, or whatever that is. Uh, and I like to think that's me being in charge of myself a bit, and
Yeah.
I don't know, a bit of directing.
We're just we're just a product of our environment.
Oh yeah,
Everything
yeah,
we're only what we eat and breathe and see. You know, all the things that we take in through
yeah,
media. You know, like anything. Like
yeah. And there's learned stuff in
it's
there like
all
your life's.
yeah. It's all
What do you call it?
becomes
It's like a
us.
momentum.
Yeah, it all becomes us and influences
Mm.
everything that we do because
Yeah, so it's
it's all
kind of
there in
this
the computer
melting
bank,
pot
isn't
thing,
it? Like
isn't it?
it's references that we can jump to
Mm.
and to understand things, but we can only use the input we've got,
Yeah.
and that's why it's already, you know, that's why
But
we
is
are
it
who we
then
are.
going out and deciding on input.
But how do you make those choices? Because of
Because
the
of
way
everything that's happened before.
yeah, because you've seen someone talking about trying new things, and you've seen some things that you've not tried and gone, oh, that looks fun.
Yeah, I'll try that because it
Yeah.
resonates with this that happened
Yeah,
before.
you hear a great speaker say something profound, and you think, oh, I'm going to include that into my life.
And you couldn't have not heard that speaker.
No.
So he's saying you were always going to hear that speaker.
Yeah. But it's not a problem because you can't know what's going to happen, and you can't put meaning on it though.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like if it is
You
like
can,
a
but it's
ride and you
pointless.
just whoosh through life and then back and then whoosh,
It is.
you know.
That's it.
Yeah, you're just going to experience some shit.
We're
I
just
like to
going
think
down a
whoever
path.
laid this down originally maybe did it creatively then. You know, whenever it went through the first time or whatever. Or do you think it's happening for the first time now?
It's now is because we're stuck in this dimension. It's always now. And in a way, there isn't a past and a future at all.
In a way.
But I think once we move out of this dimension, into another dimension, time will. I don't know. It'll be like the Earth. You can. I don't know. Like maybe you could walk around it, but you couldn't change it.
Sounds pretty mental.
You'd be outside of time.
Yeah, it's really difficult to imagine that, isn't it? Because you imagine stillness, but it might not even be that.
Oh, that's the thing. It's beyond comprehension.
The Tesseract in Interstellar was quite good. The way that showed
Right.
lots of different bits of time.
Right.
Lots of different like snapshots of time.
Yeah, I don't
but
think any of that works.
No, it's kind of poetic in it. And it's
Yeah.
kind of for human understanding.
I mean, we can see. We pretend we're looking at the past when we look into outer space because it takes that long for the light to get to us.
Yeah.
But it's just our idea of time is very. We're stuck inside it, so it's to play with it.
Yeah.
You can be slightly younger by a fraction of a second than everyone else. Yeah, if you go around in a plane at high speeds for a while, and then land, then everyone else in that's not done that is slightly older than you by a fraction of a second.
Half the speed of light and go for a few years one way and then come back.
But
you can get like 30 years.
But you're not actually
30 years in the future.
But it's not though.
Yeah, because then you would be or 30 years further in the future than you would be if you'd stayed.
It's just like.
So like you could go from the 60s.
You're still stuck with the same
90s.
equation. You're just moving the things around slightly to try and get an effect, but you're not actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
How much of an effect?
You'd be 30 years in the future. The age you are
So it'd be like, well.
No, you just spent 10 years traveling.
It'd be like being frozen in time almost. You'd age a lot slower.
In respect to your.
So you'd be gone for like a couple of years, and then you'd come, and then all of a sudden you're back.
Yeah.
But you're actually 5 years
more
for everyone else.
Well, yeah, it depends how fast you go.
Yeah.
If you go the speed
so you
of light,
still have to. You still have to wait.
Experience some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to experience a couple of years.
Absolutely.
But then, because everything's been moving slower there, more time's passed. So you get back and you're in the future.
So you're still stuck with the
constraints.
constraints.
It took you 2 years to get there.
You're still stuck with the constraints, but you are trying to push the boundaries of
you
what
could do
means.
like a 10-year, you could do a 100-year journey and be in cryo sleep or something maybe. If you were going at that speed, you probably have the technology for.
You wouldn't need to. If you were going to go in cryo sleep, you wouldn't need to travel.
That's quite true. Yeah, that'd be pretty silly.
you wouldn't need to use that trick.
Oh no, because I suppose with cryo sleep you put in alive, aren't you? Whereas with
this is just imaginary cryo sleep.
Yeah, you just do it on Earth. That's mental. Yeah. And you could probably be in a virtual reality world while you did it.
Oh, and time. Oh man, time would move differently, like in dreams. If you're in a virtual world, you could possibly live a lifetime in an afternoon.
I thought recently because I've been listening to people talking about like hallucinogenic experiences where they feel stuck for a long time, like days or weeks or
Yeah.
months. And I was thinking it might not really be what it might be because I heard someone else talking and he was saying that he forgot that he'd had the drug, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he was saying to his friend, "How long have we been like this?" Like he couldn't remember how if he'd all. He was like, "I think I've always been like this. I think we might be mad." So maybe, really, you only experienced the last 5 minutes of your trip, but you can remember
Right.
the entire history of that trip. So you go into that trip with the memory already in your head. You're like, "Oh my god, I've always been like this," or you're like, "Oh, I've been like this for years,"
Right.
and then you actually only experience that little bit and then come back out as normal.
Do that in
Maybe.
dreams a bit.
Yeah.
No, you like time moves differently in dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, it can do.
So
Yeah.
it's just the brain playing tricks.
Yeah. So how do you reckon it does that? What's going on there? Is that maybe another dimension? Or
No, it's just us breaking our brain.
what about dreams?
Yeah, again, it's the
Breaking the
brain.
brain?
The brain's just
Surely the brain doesn't break itself every night.
it's not very good. The brain.
Pretty
No,
good. I
it's
like it.
only it only needs to be good enough to work.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be perfect, and
No.
it's far, far from it. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, there's loads of scope for improvement, for sure. It's
it's.
pretty impressive. It's like one of the most impressive
I think dreams.
organs that nature's produced, though, isn't it? In terms of,
Everything's impressive.
like, any brain is pretty impressive.
All,
The
all,
engine that
all of
powers.
everything's
Oh, well.
impressive.
Yeah, everything's a miracle, really, isn't
It
it?
is.
Just
All of life, from everything to
how
anything else.
how have I how is there a fucking table there already? I didn't
Mm.
make that. It's already there. It's already happened. Now we've got roads. Sometimes I'm walking down the
Well,
street.
that's
I'm like, what happened?
that's what's made us different because we stand on the shoulders of giants. We think we're so incredible as a species, but it's only because of accumulated knowledge, which the animals obviously have the knowledge inherent, and they pass it
Mm,
on through each other, and they live their history sort of thing, and that's how they pass it on.
yeah.
But since we were able to like write it down, and then you know, and we taught each other how to make bigger and bigger buildings and all this kind of technology. And if we had to start from now, there
Shit.
only has to be one human to come up with something
Yeah.
for everyone to benefit.
So I suppose that's the past, isn't it? Actually, just to go back to the time thing for a second there.
Mm.
That is the past, isn't it? All this stuff around us is the
Yeah,
past,
yeah,
in a sense. It's
yeah,
because there's been a past
yeah,
that's already happened.
yeah.
Sorry,
It's
man.
all an accumulation of everything
Yeah.
that's been. So everything that happened before is still embedded all around
Yeah.
us.
And the ripples of it as well. The
Exactly.
effects of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Where were you going
It's-
just before that?
I don't know. I guess time isn't real then, is it?
Well, no, it has
We're
to be if
stuck.
there's buildings,
It's a
doesn't it?
dimension that we're stuck in.
Yeah, but that doesn't
So
make
it's
it
it's
not
real.
real.
It's real, but
It means it's
only to us.
well, it means it's not the only option, perhaps. You know, what we're experiencing
Mm,
as the past where we put up buildings and stuff.
mm.
Maybe that's not the only option. Maybe that's what it means. If there's something outside of time.
I don't know. It's very strange.
There's something. There has to be time because, like, what did the planet cool down in? You know,
Well,
what
time
did
time is gravity, isn't it? That's the thing. So of course there has to be.
time is gravity?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, space time. Yeah, so yeah, we were saying before.
yeah. I mean, in order for anything to happen, there has to be a space for it to happen in, and a time.
Mm.
So
Otherwise, how could it happen?
yeah.
Or would something else happen? I heard this
So,
idea recently that was quite good, where if you imagine everything in the universe as
mm,
points on a flat surface,
yeah.
um, and we think they're like jiggling around, and
Mm,
or sorry, they're moving around, and we think that's everything, but
yeah.
really there's rings on top of it. Or that's how it's described in the theory. Like
Right.
that's just one point of a circle, that's
Yeah.
above that in a
Oh, so that would be
four-dimensional
another
space.
dimension.
Yeah, so that would be four-dimensional space.
Well, it's the only thing that'll make sense, really.
Yeah, and the
It has to be
things that
some other
happen in
dimension.
there are
Cause a
causing.
reaction.
So maybe if you go further through the dimensions, you can get to free will.
You're always bound
Maybe, or
by
maybe you can be the
physics.
thing that's causing.
You'd have to stop being bound by physics and
Yeah,
biology and everything.
yeah. Well, that's entirely. It could be anything, you know. There could
That's
be
the thing. We
something that
don't
disturbs
we
physics
don't
in little
understand all
pockets
of
somehow.
physics yet,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we don't know in
We
what
don't
way we are
understand.
bound.
Yeah,
But we're
and
definitely bound.
you look at quantum mechanics and it starts breaking down already, doesn't it? Really, like the laws of physics.
Yeah, they're different
There's
to
there's a lot
what
of
we understand it.
incompatibilities.
Yeah, there's still some stuff we've got to figure out, and if
Yeah.
we do, then we'll we'll be less bound. You know, we'll have new,
Yeah.
new
Will we
areas to
make
move.
some kind of new kind of shit that moves between? It's going to be a portal in it. Do you reckon we'll get portals one day to something like in the
Oh,
movies?
yeah, that you have to kill your old body every time though.
Oh, I don't know. Do you?
Well, yeah, because you're basically
You
being
just sending
built.
information.
You're sending yourself
Mm,
somewhere, but
mm.
it's a copy.
Is there continuation of experience?
Yeah, because
Well,
you've
then
just
it's
got the
all
same
right.
brain.
Well, no.
But
Is there continuation of experience
eh?
between when the you that's there gets destroyed
Yeah,
and the you that arrives there? Is there does the mind continue between the two? Like, is it or is it a new mind with the exact same stuff,
um,
or is it the same
it's the
experience?
same. It's just like regenerating your cells all the time. Kind of.
I suppose yeah, you do
You just
regenerate
make a new
cells,
you.
but they're grown over time. Like
Yeah, yeah, but it'd
yeah,
be
it'd be
instant.
a magic machine, wouldn't it, that
Yeah, it'd be
reassembled
instant.
you.
It just
If there
build
wasn't
it. It'd be like a
continuation of
3D printer, a
experience,
biological 3D printer.
it just sounds like it'd be a different version of you somehow. You know, it'd be a different
Well, it would be a
experience.
different version. It'd be a
Yeah,
copy.
yeah. Could you keep the original? Could you just stay in the original and
Maybe.
send? You could just
You
send
could have
copies.
two. Yeah, you could.
Holy shit, just send
Well,
copies.
that's what happened in the film, innit? They had to kill the old one, and then one time it didn't, and so
Oh,
they
that
had to track
magician
him
film.
down. I
Oh,
don't know what it was. It was
oh.
Summit, but they had to track down the one that didn't die
Yeah, yeah, the
because
magician one.
you're destroyed, and then the new you carries on your life,
Yeah.
and he didn't get destroyed, and so they had to hunt him down.
Mm. Yeah, I remember it. I think did it have Tom Hardy or someone in it?
God knows.
Who knows? David Bowie, I think. Bowie.
Yeah, it's pretty mad what we're doing with brains though. You can take a brain off someone and put it into a new body.
Possible. Well,
They've done it with pigs,
yeah, it's been done in animals. Yeah,
and
yeah.
and it's the same
Full head
memories.
transplant. Sorry, full body transplant. They're lining up to do the first human one, aren't they? They've done that with
Yeah,
monkeys and dogs
well,
successfully with dogs.
full body
Full, this
transplant.
guy's got a wasting disease, so his body's just gonna be fucked in about 10 years.
Wasn't that just a head transplant then?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, he's getting a new body, sort of thing. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is he getting a new body or is that body getting a new head?
Well,
His head.
if he's in his head, which
That's the
part
weird
of him
thing,
is
innit?
hopefully, because
But a
there's
lot of your
neurons around your
brains,
heart, and
there's
around your gut.
brains, yeah, you got
Yeah.
little brains everywhere.
The actual magnetic field of the brain cells around your heart
Yeah.
is much, much, much bigger than the magnetic field of the brain cells around your head.
So how different would you be once you've got a new
That's the
body?
thing. That's what they might discover, that you have to actually take some other parts. Maybe you have to do, spinal cord and vital organs, or
It's
you
your
know,
nervous system, isn't it? Really, it's your brain.
yeah, I
Your
suppose it is
brain's
your
your
nervous
nervous
system.
system, and you'd have a new one.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'd have a different brain.
You'd have some different parts for
You'd
sure.
have. I, I wonder if you'd have behaviour changes.
Well, it does get reported sometimes, doesn't it? I don't know if there's any like real solid
You'd
claims.
probably favour a different diet. I mean that because you've got
Yeah,
different
different
needs
gut
in the
biome.
body.
Yeah,
But I don't know about.
you got to worry about compatibility. But they did do it with a
I
dog.
would have thought any verbal things or any other things. It's more. I would have thought it's all to do with the brain
Yeah,
and not
well,
getting confused and
I
changed.
think
You know.
there's memory capacity in the cells around the heart.
Well, if there's
Um,
memory, then that affects choices and everything.
yeah,
So it would affect behaviour.
feelings.
Yeah, it would have. it would alter a lot of things.
And yeah, and that field's much bigger. So if you're near a person,
Yeah.
you have to be touching heads for the field around your head to be interfacing. But if you're near someone, the field around your heart are interfacing. Would you
Wow.
believe? Isn't that lovely?
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've never wanted to um donate my body, like, you know.
Your whole body?
No, you know, if they want your bits when you die.
Yeah. You don't fancy it?
No,
No.
because that's what if it is, like, what if it does change the person? What if you're
Yeah.
still in it?
What if there's some henge in there still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to be gone when I'm
And
gone.
they give it
I
to
don't want them
some
to keep a bit of
poor
me to live on.
ballerina kid.
What if I've got? What if there's continued consciousness or something in some weird
in a
way?
part?
I don't think it could carry a consciousness,
Well,
but
I
it's.
mean, if it affects things and it
But
is
I think I'm just being silly.
memory, yeah, you're gonna be dead.
I think I'm worried about nothing. I don't think it would matter.
I don't think there's been any
It's
real
only the idea of it that makes me not want
substantiated.
it. But I suppose.
I don't know. Maybe there has. I can't think of any that have been like that is definite proof. There's some weird stories out there. There's some weird
Mm,
reincarnation stories out there.
yeah,
Actually, yeah, kids remembering past lives and stuff.
it's because we don't understand how brains and memories work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember someone telling me that they saw a couple of the kids talking,
yeah,
and the older one was saying to the younger one, "It's like, tell me what everyone's like because I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting
yeah,
what it was like before. Please tell me." And the other one couldn't
yeah.
talk because he was only tiny.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty mad.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. The brain has to trick us
Yeah.
in order for us to function.
Mm. Mm.
And so if we did have any knowledge of stuff, it has to be erased.
Yeah. Maybe you get like some views of that in early development as your brain's, putting those shortcuts in.
Mm,
Before um, everything's laid down and you see reality as we see it
yeah,
now.
before you're bound by it,
Yeah, before you're bound by it, maybe there's some glimpse of some other stuff
there's a lot
that's
more
weird and
freedom.
joyful or something.
Maybe.
Or, like unity, consciousness
But
sort of stuff.
before you before you learn that you can't alter stuff just by thinking about it,
Mm.
you can actually alter stuff just by thinking about it. You can like repair your body and stuff
Mm.
just
Mm.
with just because you believe it.
Yeah, just because you believe it.
And once you stop believing it, you can't do it
I
anymore.
think it's silly that we're not pursuing. I don't think you necessarily
Because
need to be tricked.
no, we need to control people, and therefore
Well,
we can't
yeah,
let
we
them
need
have
to.
that
Yeah, we
ability.
can't let. Shit, you can't let people heal themselves.
No.
No.
So we're taught to conform, and that this is a good world, and everyone should live like they tell us to. And you know,
It's not a bad world.
no, it's not.
It's lovely, really.
It's the only world we could have,
Yeah, yeah. Right
and
now,
it is
anyway.
incredible.
Yeah. I heard this idea called the egg, where you basically every person that's ever lived,
Yeah.
just like you're gonna go through until you've been everyone, sort
Yeah.
of thing. So everyone you ever meet is you.
There's no reason why not.
I don't think so.
It's like there may only be one electron,
Mm. Mm.
and
Yeah, and
so we
everything's
are everyone.
extrapolated from that.
Everyone is us.
Yeah.
Just our brain
Imagine that if you got
confuses us
back to
into
universal
thinking we've got
consciousness and
free
it was
will.
like that big.
Yeah.
It was just a little pebble on the beach
Well,
somewhere.
in that way, everything that happens has to have happened, and and fate has to exist.
I think.
But because then you're outside of time and you can jump into
Yeah.
each person and be everyone.
But not jump on purpose.
No, it's just
Just jump in and go along for that ride, see what that
yeah.
ride is.
You can exist in all parts of time, then, can't you? If to be all people, you have to exist in all parts of time, and that way, fate has to exist.
Yeah.
Because how would you jump to a part of time that hasn't happened yet if it doesn't exist
Oh
until
well,
it
it's
happens?
all now, isn't it? It's all already
all now.
happening. Like I think of time as a bit of like a soup,
Yeah.
than a stream maybe. Like it's all happened and it's all happening and it all is yet to happen. Like it's all one. It's difficult to verbalize.
I'm the opposite. I really think that
You think
it's a road.
it's a road
It's a road,
that's like
and it's
or like a river, like a
No,
You
no,
think a road that we move down,
no. I
because that
don't think
implies free will
river.
a little bit, I suppose.
I don't
You
know.
think
Could it
it's
be like
more
a river?
like being carried along.
See, a river sounds
It's
poetic in
been
that,
said
but I don't know
too
if it
many times
fits.
in
I don't know if it
poems.
fits with my idea.
But that implies free will if it's a road, because you're moving down it, aren't you? If there's nothing pushing you down it. Or is it like falling out of the sky? Falling in space? But
It's
along a
inertia, isn't it?
it is inertia.
It's all inertia.
Yeah. And everything's
Everything.
inertia.
Yeah.
And it's ramping as well, like it will naturally ramp, won't it? As there's
Well,
more inertia, it'll exponent. Well, like thermodynamics, isn't it? Like going from organized to chaos.
yeah.
Like the more it does that, it grows exponentially.
Ah,
That kind
yeah.
of model, doesn't it? See, so
Yeah.
the further in time, the further forward in time you are, or the nearer to the end of time you are,
The more chaos.
the more chaos. And like you see it with technology and stuff. Like as stuff's ramping up, it's just getting more and more. Like there's innovations more and more often that are weird
Yeah.
things that people aren't expecting. They just hooked up three people's brains
Yeah.
and allowed them to communicate just directly brain to brain.
Shit.
Not with thought, not thoughts. It was more. I can't remember the exact details of the study. I think it was more like feeling a certain thing, or it was directing people to do something.
That's not good, is it?
It's pretty amazing. Got telepathy.
Yeah, but you can control people. I mean, we
No,
already can.
it wasn't control. It was they heard. Well,
Oh, you can. You're brainwashing.
they received. You could do stuff like subtly and yeah, definitely.
Yeah, power of suggestion's already there.
Yeah,
But once we can go straight to
yeah.
the brain
But it
with
was like one person
technology.
suggesting it and the other person knowing and going right. That's the thing. Like doing it voluntarily
Yeah, you could.
with consent.
Yes, but you could rig anything.
You could, you could mess people up.
I mean, Darren Brown type shit. They already
Yeah.
do it,
Well,
but
you can already do it.
you gotta be pretty good. I
Yeah.
don't know how he does it, but once if you could got a machine that does it,
Yeah.
that's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty amazing though. Brain to brain communication. Like, what's that going to be in 20 years? That's going to be because like you think about it being 2 years, it'll be insane. But like
Well.
20 years, unless everything explodes, obviously.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be just sticks and stones.
The apocalypse is always around the corner, isn't
Yeah.
it?
That's what they've been saying
Forever and ever.
since the dawn of time, really.
That's it.
Everyone thinks it's the end days. It'll happen one quiet Tuesday, and nobody will have predicted it at all. Just one day, a big rock will hit the planet, and if we're not off planet by then, that'll just be either the end or just the end of civilization, and we go back
It'll be the end
to
for
not being the gods anymore.
it'll be the end for us, for like humankind. But
Maybe not all humans.
if you think
You go back to hunter
if you
gatherers.
think we are everything, then it won't matter. We'll continue. You know, if
Do you think we'll go?
we
So what
are
about
everything that exists in this world, we
just this planet,
well,
or does it go further?
it goes a bit further,
How much
but
further?
stuff can fall in to our planet.
No, I mean like how much further does us go? Like,
Well,
are we
we
stuck
are
on this
everything.
planet, or is it the whole universe?
Eh?
Are we in the whole universe, or is it? Or
We
are we
are.
like
We are the
restricted to Earth?
universe. We are the stars.
So we're not restricted to
No, we are.
incarnating on
We are.
Earth.
No, we are the stars in the light.
Oh,
The
maybe you get
light.
to be a star.
We are the light. We are. Everything's energy in it. It's all vibration, and we only have this body because of everything we've eaten and seen, and because our parents and that. It's we're only a mass of everything
Collection of
around us.
cells.
Yeah. And so we just go back to being everything else,
Mm,
and therefore we are everything.
everything.
Yeah, so even if
So do you reckon you
humans
could
die out,
incarnate
we're
into
still.
anything?
It's,
Could
I
be a
don't think
tree.
I don't think incarnation's very, very useful. I
You
don't
don't
think
like
it
the word?
works. I don't think because I don't think our consciousness exists outside.
Yeah, you
once,
think
once
it's
you're not got this form,
yeah,
your consciousness isn't
it's
what it
something
is.
else.
Yeah, it's like you don't
Is it
think
still
about.
is it still experience? Like you still experiencing stuff,
It
or
may be. But you wouldn't be like, you wouldn't want to go and watch a ball game.
No, you wouldn't have like
You,
the character,
yeah, you wouldn't need like,
your skin.
yeah,
Yeah, you've
exactly.
not got your
You
yeah
don't
your skin.
you won't be looking for fun,
Mm.
'cause it's bodily needs that,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
it might even so you all your values are different, if you had any, if there was some sort of
Yeah,
consciousness that continued,
yeah,
it would have no relevance,
yeah. Values and
almost
things.
no relevance
Yeah, we
to
can't really
ourselves.
work out how it would apply. But do you think it is it a continuation of experience?
There could be something there that makes you you and different, like that has entered it, like
Mm.
a spirit. Maybe the spirit is the consciousness, and maybe that it's yeah, because it's just electric waves and that, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's
What's
so
going on?
yeah, and things get
Well, unless it's
recorded
a
and that.
receiver.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's waves that were emitting,
Mm.
then they'd continue, wouldn't they?
Yeah. And
Because
what if it's
nothing can vanish. Only alters.
yeah, yeah, nothing can be destroyed or created.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we, in some way we would continue. But I've no idea because we don't know how
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
consciousness is formed. We don't know how it would
Yeah.
react to
I struggle to see a
being
way that
dead.
identity could carry on in that,
A lot
unless
of
it's a memory of identity
that's
while you're
that's my
there.
thing though. A lot
Would
of
you
your
remember
identity is your
everything?
bodily needs, and you lose them. And
Yeah.
all your values,
Yeah.
like
All your body related stuff
you'd be like, oh, you shouldn't kill
gone.
people. Once you've moved on, and you can see that everything's meant to happen,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, doesn't matter if people get
Yeah.
killed because they
Because
come go back to this, and
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's it's
Yeah.
just a ride, you know.
Well, also, you've got to remember it could be something completely different to that. And there's always also the possibility that there's absolutely
Like
nothing
what?
special about consciousness, and you're
Yeah,
just off. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah. Totally. That is one. It's just, I think humans. Maybe that's one. Well, no, because elephants mourn and stuff. But I mean, maybe they do. That might be wrong.
Yeah, I think they've got feelings.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
creatures have
So
feelings,
everything wants to
and that
know.
means they've got some sort of consciousness.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Some
I
kind
mean,
of.
we all say they're stupid, but I mean, they're just
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. They get along pretty well. To be fair, they do all right.
It's
Yeah. They know
bloody,
what they're doing.
they exist for fuck's sake.
But I
So
mean, yeah.
they're winning.
Yeah.
They're doing
So it does
very
happen
very
in some
well.
animals as well. But I mean, I think humans have always wanted to know what happens, and that's the curse, isn't it? Maybe that's the curse of like a
I don't
social
think so.
consciousness. No?
No, I think we've been conditioned to want to know.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, because why
Well,
else would tribes
I
be
suppose you used to just be
unchanging?
told,
Why would tribes be unchanging for like hundreds of generations?
because that's what was told at the start of that.
They don't
And
need to know anything more, do they?
no, no, well, no. If you've got belief, then you don't need to know.
There you go.
Yeah, but I struggle with belief. I've not really got time for belief. I like, and it is the ego of the human, isn't it? But I would like to
Yeah,
know.
well,
with
well, we think
a
that,
few,
but
no
cats are very inquisitive,
cats are very
and
inquisitive.
so that doesn't make us different either, does it?
Cats are afraid you can't go
All animals learn because
Yeah,
it gives it's advantageous to
yeah, they
them.
have experience.
Yeah, they
They
have to
do
learn.
stuff.
Yeah,
There is something
like they
in
want
the
to know
driver's
what's
seat,
the other
maybe not
side
the
of that
drive,
tree
something in the passenger
because it
seat.
could be useful.
Yeah,
They,
and the body reacts to that, but there's
yeah,
something that watches that as well, isn't there? I
yeah.
think that's the passenger. I don't think you are.
Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? Because you've
Yeah,
got like your what is it, your Nigel or something,
you Nigel
or I don't know, I
or you
can't remember what it's
Steve.
called, but you can call him whatever you want,
The
I
guy.
suppose.
Yeah, are you the voice you
Your
hear in your head,
autopilot.
or are you the thing listening to the
That's
voice in
it.
your head? You're the
Yeah,
thing listening to the voice in your head, not the thing
that's it. You
making
can
the
divide
sound.
yourself into so many people
Mm,
if you think about it.
mm,
Like you can tell yourself something.
yeah,
How's that
yeah.
thing? You know? How can you
It's
tell?
pretty weird, isn't it? Everyone's just got this interior monologue,
Yeah.
just running,
Yeah.
whenever they're not making a noise with the mouth or
Now
whenever.
that is a broken brain. Isn't it?
It's going,
We think brains are clever and that it's so incredible what they can
well,
do, and they're pretty broken. I mean, they only just manage.
I don't know. I think you just
They
kind of
struggle.
stuck with it all the time. I think is the thing. Like you can't have it and turn it off and be like more like an
You
animal.
can't control it.
No, I mean, well,
It controls you.
maybe maybe meditation is more like what an animal experience is when you're still in just being. I think
Mm.
that's probably more like what an animal experience
Well,
is,
they've not got
or
all.
flow state
They've
or
not got
something.
a bunch of religion and
Yeah,
like
they've got some social structures.
they've got the social
Like the
structure.
cats have got
Yeah,
territory and shit.
they have, but they just do what the people before them did.
Yeah,
But we've got a political like
all sort. Yeah,
scenery.
political, social,
Yeah,
all these different.
we've got a system,
Mm,
a, a belief of how we're supposed to be,
mm,
and I don't
many
think you'd have
different
that if
beliefs.
you're a different animal.
Mm,
I don't think you'd have an understanding of what you're supposed.
of what you'd like the world to be like, rather than what the world is
Yeah,
like.
yeah. I
Mm,
think you'd ignore all that and just be, and just what's this?
yeah,
Like, what can I do with that? And it's like you wouldn't be like, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to be them. It's like I don't think you'd bother with thoughts like
yeah.
that.
No, you just be like,
You
well, you
just
wouldn't, would you?
no, you
You just
just
wouldn't bother with thought. Well,
no. It'd be a different kind of thought. The brain
yeah.
is just
Maybe it's more passive if you don't have a passenger, and maybe the passenger is what sets us apart
could be
from the
partly
animals.
that. Yeah, we've got more of a passenger.
Mm.
And,
No, but there's still got to be something observing in animals, hasn't there? So that implies a passenger.
yeah, they have to have some. They think twice about things sometimes, don't they?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
They
something.
jump.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's a reaction. Can it all be explained by biological processes, reactions, muscle memory, instinct, if you will?
well, yeah, but that's all we are.
Yeah, it does
The
instinct
brain I think the
make a
brain just
difference.
justifies our actions and our
Mm.
thoughts.
Do you know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to check that that's still recording. I'm going to go for a piss.
Okay.
Should we take a little pause?
Yeah, man.
Alright, nice.
And to say that you can't do that is taking away your freedoms.
Yeah, but I think you can when it's used in instances like that. It doesn't necessarily need to be attached to that sort of aggression. Like if you're trying to warn someone of something that's about to happen,
Yeah.
you can do that in a compassionate way. It doesn't have to be in a
But you have to be urgent,
yeah
and
yeah.
therefore it's best
You
to
have to
be
make
blunt.
a loud noise.
It's best to be
It is
blunt.
good to be blunt, but calling someone an asshole is not blunt. You know what I mean? Like, saying oi wanker's not blunt. Saying oi is blunt.
Yeah, I thought it'd be pointless to say we wank it, but it's like you fucking idiot or something. I mean, it's just a reaction, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And
There
if
is some
you
merit to
weren't,
it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like what's his face throwing like cymbals at drummers, like
Right.
saying be a better drummer and then
Yeah.
not getting to be a better drummer.
Yeah.
That idea of
Yeah.
harsh words.
Yeah, they're important in this life.
Mm,
If you're doing something really stupid,
mm,
uh, no one wants to tell you because it'll offend you. But
yeah,
it's for your own good. And so sometimes you have to upset people for their own good.
yeah. But you have to approach it
And
in a way that's going to be.
everyone's afraid of upsetting everyone.
You've got to try and approach it in a way that's going to be received well, and that's going
Yeah.
to hopefully affect the change that you're looking
Yeah.
to affect by taking this interest in.
I mean,
in a thing,
if you're playing computer games or something online,
Mm,
and you got your microphone on, and you're blowing each other up or whatever, you can be as abusive as you like, and it's
if you
absolute
want to,
and no one's getting
and that's
offended.
like an exhaust.
No one's getting
sort of thing,
offended.
isn't it? Like that's a little vent.
Yeah, no, who's getting offended
Yeah,
there?
yeah. The occasional person.
Yeah, well, they
Whoever
know that.
got shot.
Yeah, but that's it. That's all right. It's them.
Yeah,
They are
yeah,
taking the offence.
yeah, yeah. That is often there. But I think
So
it's
you
good
shouldn't
to be
put an end.
considerate.
Yeah, but that is fine. It's okay in certain situations.
Yeah,
And once you say, "Oh, that's unacceptable, you've just ruined it for all these situations where it would have been alright
Mm.
and fun and useful. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't blanket know anything, can you, really?
No. They try.
Yeah.
It's like you can't have a problem with
Can't have a
something
problem.
that's socially acceptable now. That you have to accept what's acceptable. You have to be tolerant of
Yeah.
things and intolerant of other things.
Yeah, I think people mostly follow the tolerant guidelines.
No, but they won't tolerate certain behaviour.
Yeah. Yeah, there are certain behaviours that most people won't tolerate.
And then they say we should be tolerant
And
of
some of them are
people.
obstructive and some of them aren't. You know, some of them
Yeah.
are damaging, some of them aren't. You know, some of them are benign, if you will.
I think whenever someone's trying to say about, you shouldn't do this or you should do that, they've got a massive agenda.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, if the world, would all be happier if everyone stopped using the M word.
A lot of
And
the
it's like
time,
you've got an agenda that's got nothing to do with
a lot of the
spreading
time though,
peace
the
and joy.
biggest agenda of most of these things is to try and make things better. You know, that's an odd
No,
thing
no,
that
it's it's
occurs.
it, it's to means to an end, and the end isn't to make things better. It's to make them more powerful, more comfortable, in their family, more. It's to get them there where they want to be.
I suppose, but I mean, where does it get you something like that? You know?
Like popularity, I suppose. If you're going around saying nice things like that, you don't have to believe it. You don't even have to do anything. Just
No, you don't have to
just
believe
sprout
it.
bollocks, and you'll get to where you want to be.
Maybe.
And so it's.
You probably won't. You probably get to
I
where
think that's
you're
very
going, won't you?
Machiavellian, though.
Yeah. Well, I think so because you have to be putting on a whole extra persona, then, don't you? I mean, that's
Yeah,
like work. That's a project.
lie.
That's
You just lie. I mean, the ends justify the means, and it's like, and the ends might just be to make you on top.
yeah, yeah. I don't know though. I think often it is because the person thinks like a lot of racist people.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, it's because society would be better off without them. They're not like
Well, they're just
necessarily
confused.
because I hate. Well, yeah, they are, but they're what they want is coming from a place of what they're trying to improve
Yeah.
because they perceive they're in a bad situation.
Well,
Well, they are in a bad situation probably,
well,
and they've found a route to blame it on
well.
and say
If you
things
don't,
would be better if it wasn't for them.
well, it's
So they're
like
coming from a place of
a lot
trying
of
to make things
people,
better even.
a lot of people believe in eugenics, but it's just the moral problem.
A lot.
Apart from the moral side,
Well, I mean, do we technically practice eugenics in
we,
animals, like in
well,
dogs and
yeah,
cats? That's eugenics, really, is it?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
We do it all the time with farming. And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
breed the ones we want,
Yeah. We
and we
call it
get rid of the
breeding,
others.
but it is.
Yeah,
Both those words are
and
interchangeable.
we already like breed people to be a certain way. We
Yeah.
try and eradicate diseases and things,
Yeah.
and
We'll be
that
poking about a little bit more in that
yeah.
as time's going by because we're using like gene editing software and stuff
So,
like
and
that.
if
Have
you
we got
can
software
replace your
that edits
body,
genes? I thought that'd definitely have to be analog. Like, have we got
well,
software that messes about with genes? That's really weird.
I don't know.
Really weird.
Just maths, I guess. Weird.
I suppose you couldn't make it in analog unless you had like a really fine watchmaker's kit or something. You know, to make really tiny pieces.
Yeah. You won't be able to see it. Yeah, I think people take offence, and they don't have to. It's up to them whether they take it or not.
Yeah, yeah, but everybody does it. You know, I take offence. I'm sure you take offence.
Yeah.
Times, and
I often take
sometimes
offence
it's
at
difficult
television.
to. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult not to. You know, if you've
I'm,
got that focused on the
I'm
television.
offended by sounds.
Offended by sound.
Certain sounds.
Yeah, I'm offended by some sound.
I find sirens very offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I enjoy a siren.
At the right time, in the
Not
right
all
setting.
the time. Definitely not all the time.
It's I mean, it's on
just
purpose.
as a sound. Not as a,
It's offensive on purpose. It's meant to because it cuts through everything and attacks you, but it's definitely offensive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like oppressive almost.
It's an assault on the ears.
Yeah.
And they're looking at new ones with some white noise in there and
For calming the
different
rioters.
pitch. No, just 'cause it travels better, and
Alright.
and you can tell which direction it's coming from better. And there's a lot of technology going into it,
Interesting.
and so hopefully that'll be an end to the annoying sirens, and more of a nicer sound that concentrates you on, because you can't always tell where a siren's coming
Like
from.
a peaceful. Ah.
Yeah, yeah, man.
But just really present
Savior's on the
at
way.
great distances.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah, yeah, man. Because I think certain tones or something travel round the head like better, so you
Yeah,
can tell which
yeah,
direction
yeah,
they're coming from.
yeah, definitely, and more precisely received, maybe.
Yeah, and because everyone's different as well, it's better to have a range.
Yeah.
And so I think might why they throw some white noise in there. I'm not sure.
And I bet if you put like it pitched down just like one notch of frequency and run it alongside, you'll get a loud binaural.
Yeah,
If it's directed, you might get a sort of, it'll catch just the ear because you'll be like, that's not a noise that's supposed to
yeah.
be.
It might be less offensive. I hope.
Might be like a sound weapon that just quells the mob.
Oh,
I
they've
bet
got
if
them
you
already.
turn it up, well, yeah.
Scary shit.
Scary shit. Yeah. Definitely been tried and made.
Well, it's
100%
just
back.
resonance, isn't it?
Yeah.
You couldn't explode a human body just with resonance.
Well, yeah, anything. Yeah. The eyeball. I read a thing that was saying that Tesla made a resonator.
Yeah.
That he managed to resonate with the building he was in by
Oh, the
accident.
earthquake machine.
Yeah.
He attached it to the steel girder that was attached to the foundations or something. And it was just knocking, and it was like the vibrations went right through the building.
Scary shit. He was a mad guy, wasn't he? All this stuff was seized afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, there's fucking crooks everywhere.
So what's that now? Like, if you think of what technology, when was he? When was Tesla around?
I don't know, 1800s?
Yeah, I reckon.
Was
maybe later.
No, he was up to 90.
No, it's like light bulb time,
was
isn't it? When was light bulbs? Was that the 20s or the 40s? No, 20s,
he might have been
10s?
around in the 20s or the 40s.
I don't know.
I don't know. No, it wouldn't have been the 40s, I don't think.
No, I don't think it's that. No, we had loads of electricity back then. We had nuclear in the 40s. But yeah, like, so the technology we had then, so cameras, are now, well, that, instead of a thing with, like, this crazy thing. So what are Tesla's patents and experiments that were seized? What are they now?
Yeah.
They'd be something mad, wouldn't they? If that's been continuing work on that for that much
Well,
time.
it's the science behind it rather than the inventions, I think, that's the most important part.
Yes.
Because it's finding uses for the...
Yeah.
Because
he was all about frequency and stuff, wasn't
it? Yeah, so I think they would have taken his
energy.
teachings rather than his actual inventions.
Yeah.
You know, what his inventions show and display. You know, like
maybe he invented
see how
the
things
smartphone.
react.
He conceived of it, didn't he? He conceived of a thing in your pocket that would give you information anytime you wanted, and would allow you to communicate with people.
I think I invented that when I was little. I was like,
well, yeah, but
when filofaxes were around,
then, you know,
I thought you could have, you know, and calculators were in everything at one point. They put a calculator in everything, and filofax around. And there was put it all in one thing, and you've got a diary and
Bill
everything.
Gates and...
Well, they did. That's what the filofax was, wasn't it? It was meant to be everything in one little handy thing. And then, you know, and it's computerized, wasn't it? It's got everything.
Yeah, it's got everything. It's got the whole...
They haven't invented the thing that I invented ages ago. It's the everything plug.
Get out of town. I've thought of the everything plug.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
Why didn't it exist?
So you'd have something there that just
You've
generates
just got
and
some...
you just plug...
Well, not generate. You plug it into the mains.
Right.
And then the other side, well, it's just got like hundreds of different plug sockets on, or one that with adapters, like, you know, it's just every adapter going.
Yeah. Oh, right, a universal.
Yeah, and then and you'd have your TV would go into it, and everything else, and it would link together. You know, like you'd have your video player and your TV.
Yeah, we're gonna have that.
And you just a box, and it all goes into it.
The Internet
and you've just got switches on it.
The Internet of Things is going to be that. It'll be software switches rather than
Well, they've gone to putting everything into one thing, like the internet, and instead of making everything work together and connect. I mean, it'd be great if we went wireless. Wires are a
Yeah,
pain in the ass.
yeah. Well, we're going to definitely have more and more localized energy production that's being rolled out across China.
That's the Tesla thing, isn't it?
Uh, yeah,
Like contactless energy
yeah,
for things.
yeah. Well,
That'd be good.
more like just producing energy in a city that powers that city,
Oh right,
sort of
see.
thing. Like
Yeah,
passively
self-sustaining.
producing it. Yeah, yeah. Or at
Yeah.
least grids like little village, maybe neighborhoods. Probably you would see the scale first, where you'd have a bit of the neighborhood that does solar panels, a bit where
Yeah.
there's wind, a bit where there's like solar water heating
Yeah.
and central pump system that sends stuff
Apparently
around.
the global warming and like man-made stuff and using solar and renewables.
Yeah,
It's all an agenda again.
yeah.
It's to stop Africans from developing because if they rely on solar power,
Hmm.
they it's basically fuck all. It's like giving them a battery, a 9-volt battery to play with.
I
When they
know.
could have a whole power, they could have power plants with coal and
No,
things,
you could do it with solar.
but they need so much of it. They
All
haven't got the money to buy.
it's getting cheaper and
Like,
cheaper.
I
It's
know,
down to 15 cents for a kilowatt hour, where it used to be
but if you've got a village,
$4 a
if you've
few
got a
years ago.
village and they've got coal,
Then it's not
and
as
you tell
efficient.
and you tell them not to use it
Yeah,
because they should use this other thing
yeah.
that's
They
like,
can use both. They could probably still use coal for heat.
yeah, I mean, just like you're telling them that they shouldn't do
You
what
probably
you
use
did.
solar water heaters
The only
for.
reason we developed the way we did is because we used coal.
Yeah,
Now we're telling them not to.
yeah, because there's something that's more efficient.
It's not.
It is. It is.
It's
Germany
less.
produced.
It's not more efficient because it's less sustainable. You can't.
What?
With coal, you get massive amounts of
Yeah,
electricity. You don't really
but
have.
it's finite.
You don't worry about blackouts and things.
No.
Whereas if you're using, you've only got a finite amount with solar power, and it's not necessarily that much.
Only till you pass a critical point where you've got enough installed.
Yeah,
The same as a power plant.
yeah. And how much infrastructure would that take? It's
Less.
much cheaper to
Less.
just bang a power plant in.
No. No, because
And they've
it's
got the
less
resources
sustainable.
already.
And cheaper doesn't really
No,
matter
they've
because
got the
that's just money.
resources.
Like if you're
It
talking
does
just
matter.
money, that doesn't matter.
It does matter because that's the whole point. Africa needs to develop,
But if they're producing
and to
solar
develop, they
energy,
need money.
if they're producing solar energy, then they don't need to pay for the bills, do they? They don't need to pay for that energy.
Yeah, it's not that. That's not it. Because you got to buy it all first, haven't you?
You've
Got
got
to
to buy the
install
kit.
it
It's
all.
really cheap. There's people going out there making it really cheap.
Yeah, they're forcing it on him though,
I
and
don't
telling
think
him
it's
not to use
being
coal.
forced. I think they're explaining why you shouldn't use coal and you should
Yeah,
use this
it's
instead.
propaganda though.
Well, if it
They've
gets
got an
them
agenda.
producing their own energy instead of
What
having to
what if
buy coal,
what if they've got an agenda to keep them down?
but you're saving the money, like you're saying money matters,
No,
but you're
that's
giving
just
them more money
that's
back.
just spin. That's
But they
smoke and
get the
mirrors.
money, like they don't have to pay the
They get the
electricity
money.
bill.
I thought you just said the money's not important.
I did, but you're saying it is, so I'm
It
saying
is to them, but
yeah.
you're telling them
No,
that
I'm
it's
saying
cheaper, that they can save money, and it's not true.
the monetary cost to society isn't important, but the monetary cost to the individual
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's important. So
They're not going to develop.
They develop much easier because most of them don't. They only have coal really for heat and cooking. Like they don't
If you
really have. There's a lot of people that don't have electricity for
Yeah, so if you
the
could,
things we do.
if
Like,
you've
even
got
if
a
you can
solar
just
panel,
charge a
if you've got a
phone.
solar panel, you can carry on living in a hut.
Yeah.
You give them a proper power plant, they don't have to live in a hut anymore. They can have like
Why would you? What?
it's development.
They can
It's
go live in an
development.
apartment somewhere, or
They can have electric cars and shit.
they
They can
could have
start. They can
electric
start
cars.
using more energy.
People could do. Well, no. They could.
Could
Because they
start
have to go
eating
out into
energy like
society for that and build up. Like they've got enough energy to power their homes.
yeah,
And if you
because
were
they've not got
building-
anything to power.
Well, you can power a standard like Western household from solar. If you live somewhere where there's plenty of sun, like Africa.
Yeah, if you've got all your energy saving gadgets,
And you can grow
but
stuff
if you're
more
not,
efficiently.
I think they would. I think it is keeping them down.
I think coal's probably keeping them down, really.
They're not using it, are they?
Well, I bet loads of people are, because it's not
There's
really
not.
rolled out. There is like a critical mass. There's like a point where it becomes more effective
Mm.
for that given community as a
I don't
whole.
necessarily think it is a good idea
No?
for them to become more developed.
Why so?
Because you don't really need more stuff.
Well, no, but you can still become more developed. You can become more educated. I mean, that's a big
Yeah,
thing.
but it's also
Just
a
having a
constraint.
phone, you can
It's
become
also a
educated.
constraint. You have to give up your freedoms.
Uh,
It's a trade-off.
what, to learn things?
It is a trade-off. You can have, right? You can have a road coming to your front door, but then you've got traffic going on
Yeah.
past all the time.
Yeah,
So there's always a trade-off.
extra
You lose,
consequences.
yeah, you
Yeah.
lose the freedom. You can lose your privacy.
Yeah, and
You
if
can
you
lose
want
all
to
kinds of
preserve your
things.
way of life and stay
Yeah, so it's
where
not
you are,
necessarily a good idea to just develop.
no, but if you do, then you can think, oh, maybe I want to go somewhere else and go and do something.
Yeah.
You know, how many people, there's that line in there about how many Einsteins have just, died in a gutter somewhere, or,
Yeah.
how many people who could have done what someone else who changed the world, they could have done something else that would change the world.
Well, it was in India, wasn't it, when they developed maths and that, and they had such amazing education there.
Yeah.
And then it just stopped. They stopped educating them. Like, they don't seem to have the same things. They were all about learning at one time in history.
Yeah.
And now it's, I don't know, it's just fighting, isn't it? I suppose.
What? there's still there's loads of it's just like England, there's schools.
Yeah, but when you think of education, like they reckon, like Yale and Harvard and the Oxford and Cambridge and that, they're your best schools and that, and that's where you get your most amazing education.
Lots of people come from India to go.
Yeah, that's the thing. So why
there
isn't
is
there
also good education facilities.
But
there.
they
really
had
good.
but there was how much knowledge was floating about in a period in history when they were doing maths, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, what in terms of like new discoveries and stuff, and
just mathematic knowledge, like
I don't know. There's a lot of breakthroughs in science coming from India. They pretty much.
Oh yeah, they still are.
They've got their own space agency.
But historically, didn't they invent maths?
I think
something.
possibly that was more Persia or Mesopotamia. I don't know.
But when it travelled there, they did a lot of work on developing it, I think.
Yeah, they did a lot of work on sort of sacred maths, kind of like quite quite a deep understanding.
See, that's some serious
ideas,
learning,
and sort
isn't it?
of philosophical maths.
Yeah,
sort of,
there's some seriously good learning there.
Yeah, they were really into it. But I mean, a lot of the world was at that time, like Egypt was into that.
I suppose it's because you've got like slavery, and that means that you've got luxury as well, and people can just sit around learning because someone else is doing all the hard work.
there is still quite a lot of slavery, but not as much as there was.
And
there was more slavery when we took over, really.
We make the best advances when we've got the time to ponder on things. You know, it was only people.
A gap in trying to find.
It was only people that had standing, that could afford to like go out, travel the world and discover things. They had to have people. There has to be people suffering in order for them to exist, and because they've got to be a crew. They've got men working for them.
Yeah, but they can treat them with respect and dignity. And then that's not really suffering.
But the people working for him haven't got time to go around the world discovering things.
Well, they can do though if they just work on the boat.
Well, yeah, they get to do a bit, but they don't.
Yeah, they get to do loads.
Well, they probably don't get to write about it because they haven't had the time to learn how to write.
But fucking hell, then you get to go and do it and not have to worry about writing about it.
You just do it. But the only way, but then it's
run off when you land.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
But the rich guy's the one that's making all the discoveries and
and
inventing great things. And furthering.
Well, inventions often come before the person's sort of freight, if you will, don't they? I think.
Yeah,
You know,
but I
that's
mean,
what launches them into that.
you got to have the freedom to discover things and invent things.
Yeah.
If you have to swing an axe all day, then you've not got as much time
Yeah.
to
It
to
depends how
invent
much
stuff
time off you've got, because
and
if
consider stuff.
you can always, you know,
I mean,
do good thinking when you're swinging an axe.
of course you can,
You know,
but
invent stuff.
you might not have some of the other skills.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, if you're
Yeah. What
born,
if you don't have like the language skills?
yeah, if you're born with affluence, you get all kinds of education, and it gives you such an advantage.
Yeah.
So but the only way you can have that
And
advantage,
all the systems that are in that system of education as well.
yeah,
That
the
you're
only
going to
way
go
you can
through.
have that advantage is for a bunch of other people to not have it, which is pretty unfortunate.
Makes it theft, really, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that's why we resent them so much. I think, like people in power, because they've been handed to them on a plate. Obviously, they've had to
Yeah, they've
had
done
to make
stuff.
something of it. What's handed to them.
Yeah, but
It may
often
be easier, but they still have to have
the
the drive.
process of doing it's often just devious inherently, or almost like it's set up so there's no option to get ahead. Be devious
Yeah,
is the option. If you
that's
want to get
just
ahead, be
it's
devious.
just nature, though, isn't it?
Eh, it's some
It's not like
hierarchical
we're being
systems.
evil. It is nature.
Hopefully, we'll go to less hierarchical things and more localized rule, if you will.
That'd be nice.
I'd enjoy that. I think.
Yeah.
If places like if Blackpool could say, do you know what, we're going to legalise weed,
Yeah.
that would be pretty good. And other places could go, do you know what, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Like Scotland could do something, or whoever.
Well,
Well, Glasgow.
luckily there's a fair bit of that. Wales kind of does their own
Wales is
thing.
really independent.
Yeah.
They just do stuff. They don't really go, we're holding a parliamentary meeting on this. We're going to ask Theresa May about this. They just go, oh, we're doing this.
Yeah.
We've already started doing it.
That's
We
brilliant.
broke ground yesterday. Yeah, Wales is really independent politically, I think. Like in an understated way.
Yeah.
There's nothing too
That's
drastic.
good.
But I think maybe they would be the first to legalise marijuana. Maybe Wales would push for that to be legalised in Wales, or tolerated in some way like Amsterdam.
Yeah.
You know, some kind of grey market. Maybe Wales would be the first.
I think social media's changed the landscape of everything a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we already had a lot of globalization going on, but now, if it's like the new viewpoint comes in, like you should, certain morals because of modern times. Everyone everywhere has to have the same. You know, it's like you got to accept like men becoming women and women becoming men, and if you'd never heard of such a thing, you'd think it was ridiculous. And now you have to respect them. Like, you don't have to, but it's you've got a moral obligation to be accepting of them.
Society puts that on you.
Yeah, and social media's put that to everyone. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing there, but it's not just morals.
No,
It's all kinds of
different
ideas that aren't helpful. And,
yeah,
a
but
lot of,
I don't know if an idea is not helpful. Does that mean it shouldn't?
it's a way of controlling people more. And it's a shame. It's better when everyone's got their own view.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people will look at the reasons why. Well, they'll be like, why don't I say these words that I think are racist, or why don't I say these things, or feel these things? And I think most people just don't feel them anyway. Like most people don't really care if somebody wants to be a man or a woman. Like what?
Yeah.
What difference does that make to anybody apart from that person? You know?
There's a lot of racism is inherited, I think.
Yeah. Certain behaviours. Yeah, because it's what you learn, isn't it? Whatever your behaviour is in some way what you've learned.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah. So it's.
So that goes back many generations, much like the thing you were saying about the birds. Went between the
monarch.
The monarch butterfly.
Yeah.
Going between you're just always in that spot if it keeps happening. But then, so maybe that's fate. But then, what if that changes? Because that does change. Like people break away from
fated.
Still fated. Yeah.
It's,
Thought I saw a window then.
yeah, there's no way
but no,
around
no,
it.
that's not a window. I'll find it.
There's no way around it.
I
It
reckon.
has to be fate.
I
But
reckon it's creative.
because you can never
so-
know your fate, you can't. It makes no difference.
Mm.
It might as well be.
But were you always going to
Unknown.
play that
Like-
guitar the way you just played it?
Must have done.
Must have
Because
done.
I did.
You were already gonna. Well, you did do it. That's true.
Yeah. And then we wouldn't be where we are now if I hadn't.
No, somewhere else.
Yeah.
Would you not think that's possible that we could have been somewhere else
No.
instead?
No, that's the point.
No, I think that's unreasonable.
If we were somewhere else, we
When I
would
say
have
it like
only
that.
have meant to have been there, and we would never have been here.
No, because there's probability.
Ah, probability.
Yeah.
No, there's cause and effect. There's no probability.
There's quantum mechanics. Probability.
Yeah, we don't know the pattern, but there is one.
Yeah, it's still a pattern because it's probability and then it coalesces.
It's a
There's a
pattern.
thing that
We don't
plants
know the
do.
pattern though.
When plants receive light, they send it down the plant. So from the leaves and wherever they receive it, down the plant, and the light travels down. All in the tiny bit of time it takes, it hits the plant, and it travels down through all the possible routes to where it's going, and then when it finds the shortest route, all the routes vanishes, all the other routes vanish, but all of it
Goes down the
already was going down just that one sort of thing, like it collapses.
Yeah.
And it's always been going just that. It just took that one route. The energy isn't lost from the exploration. It's because it happens so fast.
Yeah.
Because it's the speed of light.
Yeah.
It's somehow quantum or something. Yeah. It's is it entanglement? It's entanglement. It finds the shortest route. And once the shortest route has been found, it collapses.
sends it through all the routes.
Yeah.
At once,
but,
every possible route.
Yeah. Every possible route.
And then it goes to
It
the
finds
one.
the shortest one.
And that becomes the one.
Yeah. But it was all like somehow
It's
it
at
was
the same
always
time.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like quantum entanglement where it happens instantly.
Yeah.
When, I don't know.
It's fate, mate.
But yeah, so that's like probability.
Is it?
Yeah, because it does the many different possibles.
No, it's
and
not.
then
It's
picks the
not.
shortest
It's
one.
fate.
So what?
It's all like you
Oh,
said.
well, yeah,
It's
doing
literally.
that and then going one.
It's literally not.
But it did all of them
possibilities.
as well.
Yeah. So there's no possibilities.
It did all of them, and then that one happened.
Yeah.
what
So
if-
it had to be that one. It couldn't have been any other.
So what if on like a sort of quantum
It's not, it
level
couldn't
or
have
some other
gone-
level,
It couldn't have been a different one.
do all of the possibilities and then one
Yeah.
coalesces? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Like you could
I
say
don't know.
any animal
know.
on the planet.
Yeah.
Do you go outside of time and just do all of them and then one gets selected and then that comes into reality?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe that's how it works.
Yeah.
Because like electrons pop into existence, or the one electron.
No, yeah, they're in and out of existence. They disappear from the universe and then reappear in the universe in a different spot. And that's what everything's doing all the time. On that level, the electron's pretty mad. And as well, like what it's in, the atom, is mostly empty space. There's only a tiny bit of it that's matter. The rest is just an empty space with a membrane. So everything's empty space, really.
Mostly, kind of.
I'm thirsty.
Got some juice.
Have you got some juice? What guy? What is this? Mad juice. Red juice. Summer fruit
Red
juice
flavoured.
drink. What is it? Oh, it smells pretty cool.
It's a bit watery, but it's alright. It's just juice.
That does it.
Yeah.
Right, so that's it.
Yeah, go.
I don't know how long it's been yet. Because it's in beats.
Oh,
rather
right,
than-
yeah. Good that.
rather than time.
Useful.
It is useful when it is, but then when it's not.
Time indeed.
Hmm?
Time indeed.
time indeed.
It's not in time.
What is it?
The thing.
No, it's not quantized at all. It'll try and quantize it.
Well, that's what we're talking about, isn't it? Time.
We are talking about time. That has been the overarching theme, probably.
Yeah.
And the setting in which it has happened.
Yeah,
it's
in the
happened
now.
in time.
In the now.
Now it's there.
Now it is there,
It is
it
there.
can be listened to
Again.
a later now.
Yes.
If you can you have a later now? In the now that's
I think,
gonna
is that
be
the future?
but
I bet that's like the original.
There's no past or future, is
I bet
there?
that's an old language word for now, isn't it? What did you say?
Oh, I don't even know. Well, what's...
It's alright.
Yeah.
There's a breakthrough, huh? Normally when you forget stuff, it's gone.
Yeah.
Today,
You'll have to
you forgot a thing.
you'll have to edit this. Throw some bits on like Tesla was alive from like what? Well, was it?
That'd be
You
pretty
know,
fun.
when we're questioning things and we're not sure about
Yeah.
things, like just
Yeah.
sort of like...
It would be handy to have a little screen or something. But you could also
You
just
could
edit
do that
in.
as a video if you're gonna do it on a video as well.
For the bit that got missed before, I could do that.
Yeah.
And maybe I have done that.
You have.
I have.
You've always done it.
I've done it. It's already happened.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, because it will
we're
happen.
inside the thing.
Because
right
it will happen. It has happened.
No, because it's been recorded.
Yeah.
It will happen. It sounds. Yeah.
But only if you actually do. Maybe you will.
No, from this point when it's
tell.
being watched back.
Yeah.
I will have.
Ah.
You see, because I'll do it on the bit where the video is missing.
Yeah.
So we'll be speaking about this, and it'll have already happened.
Oh, see.
In the chronology of the video.
In the edit.
Yeah. So it's already happened. Because we're inside the machine.
Oh man, are we gonna do this weird time thing then? So
what weird time thing are you talking about?
Well, we're in the future.
We are in the future. Are we in the future?
Yeah. Well, that will be.
That will be.
And therefore, that's us now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we see, like,
reality is just going into there.
Well, I mean it's a Tuesday, and Donald Trump said that thing again, didn't he?
What did he say?
Oh yeah. That one that was in the paper this morning.
Yeah, he said something about. I don't know. What did he say?
Oh,
what's he going to say tomorrow? Let's have a game of what's Donald Trump going to say tomorrow. North Carolina is his favourite city.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to say.
He's getting re-elected, isn't he?
But is he getting re-elected?
No, he's getting re-elected next week.
What?
He's getting re-elected next week.
Oh, well, I suppose he is, isn't he? Always.
Well, at one point in time, someone could be listening to this, and it will be the time when he's getting elected next week. It's like, I like it when
time travel.
I like it when they do it on the radio. It's I think it's Sean McGinty does it a lot. When he pre-records it, he does time checks and things. Like he'll say, like, it's
right.
It's 3:43 because he knows when it's being aired. He records it and he pretends that it's.
I suppose you just have your clock on and you start on the hour or you time it.
Yeah, and so he's and it's good when you make stuff up that could have happened. It's like if there's a football match and it's next week, then you say, oh, and this, the score was 1-1. Yeah, you just mention.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a great match, wasn't it? Yeah. With them, and he's like, hang on, he recorded this before the match happened. How did he know?
Sneaky guy.
Yeah. So it'd be good if we did some of that.
Yeah.
But
I think so. We could go at any point in the future.
Yeah. Really. But it's not the kind of thing. We're not presenting to an audience. We're just chatting.
Just chatting.
Yeah. It only works when you're presenting. Well, no, we could be talking about something that hasn't happened, pretending that it has.
We could be. just make shit up. I could just tell you that a turtle has been impregnated by an alligator, and it's actually,
Oh, that was all over
come
the
to
news.
term. I remember, yeah, it was a big day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everywhere. Remember the video? There was a video of the thing.
It broke Facebook, didn't it?
Broke Facebook. Oh my god. Everything. Yeah. Everything
Still
breaks
is.
Facebook.
Yeah, well, it's not back up yet, is it?
Isn't that what?
No, Facebook's still down.
Oh, but now you see, now if we're in different times, then there are times
And,
when one's correct and the other isn't.
yeah, you can easily
Because we're
be wrong.
saying it in one time.
We're probably wrong. It's
Well,
gamble,
we're
innit?
always wrong
It's a gamble.
sometimes. One time, we'll be right one time.
If we're not too obscure.
Yeah. Well, even
Or
if
maybe
nobody
no,
sees
if
it,
we're
we'll
very
still have
obscure,
said
if
it
we're not.
correctly.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like some Nostradamus shit, innit?
Yeah, just throw it out there.
Yeah.
What'll probably happen? They're starting to get good weather on Mars.
You see, Nostradamus has a chance because fate is real. And so, in some ways,
He doesn't need
there's a
it to be real,
possibility.
though, does he?
Yeah, because if anything could happen, how would you say what will happen?
Well, if you couldn't tell what it was, like you were saying,
Yeah, but
it
if the
was the
future
same.
could be anything,
Mm,
which it could be, but it will be definitely one thing.
it will be definitely
not.
one thing.
But from our perspective, it could be anything. Because we can't see what, we don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I think maybe that ties into that sort of higher reality idea I was on about before, with the circle. Like it was explained better in this video, but it was just like a point, and then this thing in the higher dimension was moving, and what we perceived as what was happening down here was actually just the movement of this circle, where the circle is just an illustration.
Right.
It could be absolutely anything. There's a thing that's moving around in a higher dimension that we think is this.
Yeah.
But it's not. This is just a part of it, or
It's a dimension
limb,
less.
or like the idea of everyone just being an eye, a pair of eyes for a thing, and it's just like metaphysical tubes just going back, and it's just a consciousness,
yeah,
like blob of consciousness, and just tentacles with eyes.
It's all an illusion, isn't it? This is all just a dream, kind of.
Something like that. Because what's a dream?
Well, how do you know you're real? You don't. No one can prove you're real.
No.
That's fucked.
Well,
you can't prove you're real.
I think it's just a statement about the nature of the inability to prove anything at a fundamental level. You can make things work.
And we've got plenty of knowledge and know-how.
Yeah,
and
you can make plenty
understanding,
of things work, but not consciousness, really. So I think that's why we're short on that explanation.
You can't look inwards. If you're in the box, you can't see outside of it. And you can't
conceive of
if
the
you're
outside.
No, that's it. That's the crux of it.
Well, no, because I suppose we can see things that we can't see, like gravity. Or, we can measure it, or we can.
No. We can't see and measure gravity.
We
We
can measure
experience gravity because it's time. It's space-time.
And we can measure.
We experience it.
We can measure time in a sense. It's kind of arbitrary, but you can measure it.
Yeah, we attempt to.
Yeah.
Put structure.
Only for convenience.
But it's only now, isn't it?
It's only now. It's always just now.
But we need to map
where
it.
The Earth's set.
We map it in some way, don't we?
Yeah. Well, it has to kind of happen, doesn't it? Because the Earth has to have cooled down in a period of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things have to have happened.
I mean, it could be a reaction.
I suppose if you happen in space, you have to happen in time as well.
It could be a reaction.
So if you happen in gravity, then you have to happen in time.
Here's a good one. Flame. The flame isn't a thing. It's just a reaction. You can't have flame. You can only cause a flame.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But I was thinking about that, and I asked the mushrooms about it one time.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the flame.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, is there like
it's a reaction, like love.
But is there like
love's not a real thing, but it's a reaction.
is there like a pool of like I understand fire ignition,
Yeah.
combustion. Is there a pool of potential flame, and when combustion happens, flame appears? And I was asking the mushrooms, is that the same as consciousness? Is there like a pool? And then something happens and it appears, consciousness appears in a
Yeah.
body or whatever.
Consciousness is a reaction to the brain.
To a pineal gland, I think, is
Yeah.
a developed pineal
So it's not
gland is
real,
the
just
Buddhist
the same
tradition.
as love isn't real, but it
Is
but
kind
it
of real.
affects
It's a
itself.
different
Yeah.
thing to
It
real.
represents itself.
Yeah. But yeah, so I said to the mushrooms, you know, is that a thing? And they laughed.
Yeah.
Like you're being silly. Like what are you on about? And they're like, just have a look at the fire. Like look how beautiful that is.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh wow, that was like quite a powerful, quite a powerful thing to hear.
It's crazy though. Basically, fire's the same as love because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's simply a reaction.
Mm.
It's fucking great. You know,
Yeah.
love is probably the most awesome thing.
Yeah.
And fire, I love fire. It's like it gives life, doesn't it? Really? Without the sun, there would be no life.
Well, yeah.
And that's basically just fire.
But the sun's also, you know, it's Shiva,
fire.
isn't it? It's the creator and the destroyer. So,
Yeah. Well, you got to have renewal, haven't you?
Yeah. But like the sun, especially, like you go in the sun, you're not gonna go in the sun.
They're sending a satellite.
You'll get near.
They're sending a probe.
You can go.
To
You
the
can
sun.
go near. But
It's gonna go around it twice and then fall into it.
Mad. How close?
I don't know. It's very close. But you know, obviously close enough to fry it eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if they've sent it yet, or they've.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I remember hearing something about it. Yeah, shuttle. It's weird few months.
We live in interesting times.
We do. On that note, Henge,